Hey there, Sean here from Tesla Family. It's another bright, sunny spring day here in central Maryland. But a few weeks ago, the skies dimmed as about 88% of the sun was covered by the moon here over the house, while the total solar eclipse passed about 300 miles to the northwest. Well, during this time, my wife, daughter, and I were treated to a beautiful view of totality near Magog, Quebec, in the path of totality. If you've never been inside the path of totality, make sure it's on your bucket list. Even though we weren't home, my Tesla solar panels picked up the eclipse with a reduction in solar generation during the mid-afternoon. This reduction was so low it almost kicked in my Powerwall. In this video, I'll share my Tesla Energy app data from the day of the eclipse and show you how much generation my system missed due to the eclipse. Let's get to it. Alright everyone, before we get into the video, let me plug my Tesla Solar and Powerwall playlist. I've got over 40 videos I've shared with you here in this playlist covering all kinds of topics from my Tesla solar panel installation back in 2020 to my 2-year Tesla solar performance information video. I'm actually coming up on 4 years this June, so I'll have to make a video for that. And other videos, including this one that's titled "What's Causing These Dips?" You know, very curious to see what causes impacts to my solar production. And in this video here, I've shown you some of the causes to the dips in my solar production. Also, information here on how I'm charging my Tesla Model 3 by the sun using my Tesla solar panels and a new feature called Charge on Solar. And another video here just plugging my Tesla Powerwall. Here's my day 1 performance video showing how my Tesla Powerwall did on the first day that I had it turned on. Lots of fun and informative videos to check out if you're interested in solar panels and Powerwall and Tesla anything. Check them out at my Tesla Solar and Powerwall playlist linked above. Okay, so we're going to actually start off the eclipse information here with my location. I'm located in central Maryland, right about where this pin is on the map. And you can see that this is a map showing the path of the total solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. So during the total eclipse, my home was located right about the 90% of obscuration line, about 300 miles to the southeast of the path of totality. Now, if you're looking to see totality, this is not an ideal location to be in. You will see some pretty neat partial solar phases, but you will not see totality. So I actually was not here on the day of the eclipse. I was much further north in the path of totality and saw an awesome show up in Quebec. More on that here in a minute. You can see here the maximum partial phase occurred right around 3:20 p.m. with a 90% magnitude and about 88% obscuration. So where was I for the total eclipse? We actually ended up chasing the total eclipse. Yes, I said the word chasing because it's actually pretty difficult to find an area of completely clear skies. So we had to chase the clear skies, which was incredibly hard, I found out. But what we did is we ended up driving north here from Maryland. Our first target area was Burlington, Vermont. Figured out when we were there about a day before the eclipse that the high clouds were going to come in and probably cover our view on the day of the eclipse. So we got back in the car from Burlington, Vermont and drove to the northeast and ended up here in Magog, Quebec, Canada. And we had a fantastic show right in the path of totality. We had approximately 3.5 minutes of totality centered on a maximum of around 3:29 p.m. And here are the key messages from the National Weather Service for the 2024 total eclipse. These were posted right around midday, the day before the eclipse, and you can see here Burlington seeing the edge of those clouds coming in. So that's why we had to move up to the north and east to stay ahead of those clouds for the forecasted 3 p.m. time during the day of the eclipse. And just to give you an idea of what we saw, just a magnificent view here during totality. This is actually a progression composite that I put together of all the different phases that we saw during the total eclipse. Of course, with the center picture here being the totality. And wow, just an amazing experience. I've got some halfway decent video to share with you if you're interested. At the end of this video, check it out. Of course, I was focused so much on taking these photos that the video, which is a GoPro video, really isn't all that great. But if you'd like to see our location a little bit closer, definitely stick around to the end of the video. All right, now we're going to really dive deep into the data, and you might be wondering why we're looking at Photoshop elements. Really, it's probably the best way that I could show you the data here, because I'm going to overlay several different generation traces, and I think this is the best way of showing you with the different layers. Many of my other videos I've used PowerPoint before, but this is just going to be the best way. So that's why we're looking at Photoshop elements here. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know anything about my solar panel system size. I've got all the information in all those videos on my playlists, but this is a 7.56 kilowatt hour Tesla solar panel system, or solar panel system I bought from Tesla, with the panels installed by a Tesla installation team, and they were installed at the end of June in 2020. And this is a screen capture from my Tesla app showing the solar production, or the amount of solar that I generated on April 22nd. Now this is after the eclipse, but I wanted to give you an idea of about what our maximum generation is with my Tesla solar panel system, with my 7.56 kilowatt system. On a really, really good day, we can hit the upper 40s to right around 50 kilowatt hours in a day. Now, of course, the more panels you add, the more you can generate, and several people out there with larger systems can generate upwards of 100 kilowatt hours a day, which is pretty awesome. But this actually covers right about 90 to 95% of my usage throughout the year. Pretty dang near 100% of my usage for about 8 months of the year, and then in the winter time, of course, with the lower sun angle and the colder temperatures, cloudier skies, production numbers come down quite a bit. So just to give you an idea of what my system can produce, about 47.5 kilowatt hours here on April 22nd. Now this production is on a mostly sunny sky. Now I want to say mostly because there are a couple minor little dips where likely a few very, very small clouds drifted over the solar panels and blocked the sun for a minute or two. A perfect bell curve here would indicate a 100% clear sky all day long. So let me show you what my system can generate on a partly cloudy day. Alright, so here is Wednesday, April 24th, again after the eclipse, but I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like on a partly cloudy day. We can see some semblance of a bell curve here, but there's several large dips, like numerous large dips throughout the day. You can see this is just due to the clouds, the puffy cumulus clouds passing over the panels. Every time that happens, you get a decrease in your generation. So on a partly cloudy day, we can generally produce somewhere in the 35 to 40 kilowatt hour range. This was 37.8 on the 24th. Now let's compare that to the day of the eclipse. Alright, so here is the day of the eclipse, Monday, April 8th, and my system on this day generated still a pretty decent amount for early spring. In fact, throughout the entire calendar year, middle to late spring is actually my highest production days of the year. You might think that summertime is, but actually the humidity and some more clouds, thunderstorms, generally I don't get as good production as I get in the mid to late spring. But this is actually pretty decent for early April, 33.5 kilowatt hours. You can see the semblance of a bell curve here, but it was partly cloudy that day until we started to come into the partial phases of the eclipse. We gradually started to see some dips, and then we have the sharp drop here. So now I've annotated on the graph a red line where we saw the maximum of the partial eclipse here at my home. This was around 3:20 in the afternoon. You can see the solar production dipping down quite a bit here right in the middle of the afternoon, and then we rapidly increase back up to just shy of 4 kilowatts of production before we start to see a sharp drop off again as the sun sets. So quite an impressive dent here into my solar production. What I'm going to do is overlay the production during the solar eclipse with those two other graphs I showed you, just to show you the difference. Okay, so here is our April 22nd, nearly full sun, almost perfect production day overlaid with the eclipse. And you can see several large chunks taken out here, mainly due to the eclipse, but also due to the partly cloudy skies. In fact, I've calculated about a 30% loss between what occurred on eclipse day and my nearly perfect full sun or nearly full sun production day. About a 30% loss, or around 14 kilowatt hours, that we did not generate due to those clouds and, of course, the partial solar eclipse. All right, now comparing that to just a partly cloudy day, we can see here's that generation graph. All right, taking a look at the overlay, I've calculated about 11% loss from a typical partly cloudy day to eclipse day. So that was right around 4 kilowatt hours over a period of 2 hours that we did not pick up because of the partial blockage of the sun. Again, 90%, pretty significant, and that shows really well here on the graph. All right, I've got a few more graphics to show you, but it was really cool to see the differences between the production days on various, cloudy versus not cloudy versus eclipse day, and the impact really is quite significant, even for just the 2-hour period where the partial eclipse moved over my home. So this is my home production. I used 6.3 kilowatt hours during the day of the eclipse. Now, we weren't even home, so this is actually very, very low and not representative of our typical at-home usage. But you can see here where amount of usage here went up toward the middle of the day, likely due to my air conditioner running. And then as we got closer to eclipse time, maybe due to some cooling outside with the lack of sunlight, the air conditioner likely turned off, and we just kind of went down to more of a baseline pattern here, which is somewhere around, looks like maybe only 300 watt hours, very, very low. And then as the sun peaked back out, it looks like we probably had the air conditioner turn back on again. So it's kind of neat to see how even how the partial eclipse impacts some of the systems in your home, like the air conditioner. Okay, here is a look at my Powerwall performance on eclipse day, and here what we can see is that my Powerwall was powering my home through the early morning hours. Again, we weren't using a whole lot, so it didn't eat up a lot of the power. We can see the curve here on the bottom, the charge level coming down. And then as the sun came up, we did charge Powerwall here. This graph going below the x-axis indicates we're charging Powerwall up to 100%. Then we were able to hold Powerwall through the day at 100% before the sun set, and we started to use or discharge energy from Powerwall after the sun went down, and we could see our charge level again decreasing. But even though we didn't use Powerwall, I wanted to show you we actually got very close to actually having Powerwall kick on right in the middle of the day because of the diminished amount of generation from my solar panels. Here's a look at the net grid usage. The amount of energy that I'm importing and exporting to and from the grid. And you can see here that actually we're not importing any energy at all on a day like eclipse day, even though we didn't have full production, we didn't have fully sunny skies, we had some clouds out there, but we actually never had to import any energy from the grid, which is super cool. We exported a whole ton of energy here. Actually exported 26 kilowatt hours to the grid, and much of that occurred right there in the first couple hours of the day before noontime. But what's really cool here is we can see that our export amount is coming very, very close to the x-axis here, or zero import export line, right around the time that the eclipse occurred. So we were super, super close to having a extra need of power that was not being supplied by the solar panels, where we wouldn't have dipped into grid energy or my grid credits, but Powerwall likely would have kicked on had we needed a little more energy than what we needed. So very, very close here, and I thought that was super cool to show that we were very close to crossing over that bridge there and needing to use Powerwall in the middle of the afternoon. Typically that would only happen on a super cloudy, rainy day where there's almost no solar production and your home is using a bunch of appliances. Well, that's all I have for the video today. Hopefully you found this really neat information and very helpful to you to see how the partial solar eclipse impacted my Tesla solar panels. Stick around for some of my totality video. Otherwise, give me a like if you thought it was very informational and you thought the topic was interesting. Definitely check out that playlist for more information on Tesla Solar and Powerwall. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from Tesla family. And leave a comment below if you have any questions on Tesla Solar Powerwall or solar eclipse impacts.
60 seconds. 1 minute. Do you see any shadow bands? Just like a wavy shadow.
Wow.
Look at, we could start to see the shadow coming. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Glasses off, glasses off. Glasses off. Maximum eclipse right here.
All black. Look at the city lights are even on. Girls, can you sit down? Yes, take a picture. Test it, but you're not going to see it. That's actually pretty cool. Is it the diamond ring? Use your boyfriend's face. Is it the diamond?
Put your glasses on. Glasses on, glasses on.
It's a diamond ring. Oh yeah. Bro, it's morning again.
Thanks for watching the video. If you really enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to Tesla Family channel for free here on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get back to you soon. We really appreciate all of our subscribers and anyone who watches our videos. Thank you very much. Check out more of our content linked on the end screen of this video and on the videos, shorts, and playlists tab of my YouTube channel. If you are on social media, follow us on X and like us on Facebook. Use my referral link to buy a new Tesla and you will get 3 free months of full self-driving capability, or if you use my referral link to order solar roof, solar panels, or Powerwall through Tesla, you will get $500 off.